A very warm welcome to our coverage of the simulated competition called eRacing GP. We are in Season 5, we're in Round 2 of the season. It's the brainchild of Alex Young alongside me here in the studio. And Alex, for Round 5, we've got the Gold class coming up, but you run 3 other editions as well ongoing. Let's just have a quick look at the names of who are the championship leaders at the moment in the 4 competitions that we run.
Yeah.
We call them copper, bronze, silver and gold. It's Malaysia leading the way in the copper and bronze classes, Kelvin Pau and Bernard Chan. Bernard also competes in the silver edition where he was competing with Nurshaz Lizan in a race. Nurshaz Lizan is the championship leader in the silver class. In the gold class, which is the creme de la creme, Australia's Josh Purwien, who we know to be ultra competitive, he is leading that the way after a very, very solid round 1. We talked about round 1, and before I give you a word in edgeways, Alex, don't mean to keep you quiet. Let's look at the highlights that we had from a very, very entertaining race 1 and 2 at the Red Bull Ring in Austria. The red lights at the top of your screen, when they go out, we are underway for Season 5 of eRacing GP. Anton off to a good start, but so is Josh Purwien. Behind them, Tadashi, the 2 pink cars leading the way. Everyone's got away nice and safely, Amo Hazik. Or have they?
Almost, everybody. One of the Mercedes, that looked like Adrian Ferguson. I think he went into the MotoGP escape road. They can have the DRS, and look at that. Inigo Anton tries to go to the outside at Rima's corner.
But Josh Purwien is able to defend, but the DRS really makes a difference. Josh Purwien overcooks it, and we have a new race leader, Amo, and it is from the Philippines, Inigo Anton, and he has taken Ayman Aqeem Tadashi through with him.
And Ayman also has DRS. He's going on to the inside. Does he get moved on? No, he doesn't. He had a look at it, but Inigo Anton was well aware as well, and he manages to stamp on the anchors ahead of the Malaysian. And Josh is getting swamped up by the rest of the field as well after losing out. Yeah, 3rd last season with Ayman in 4th. They are 2 drivers who are hell-bent on trying to actually take that crown away from the kid who's not racing this road, which is Dylan Tan. So it opens up yet again an opportunity to win the championship as Ayman goes around the outside of Inigo. Inigo holds firm on the inside. Ayman goes through into the lead.
Ayman Aqeem Tadashi takes the lead in the pink. A long, long way to go, but
he had a lot of speed, so he needed to brake as early as possible to get the move done, but unfortunately he broke a bit too late there, and it allowed Ayman to get back at him. But now, Nabil is joining the fray, and this is going to become a 4-way battle for the lead.
There is Nabil, a little bit close there. He's a...
Look, is that a chase for the lead? Ayman actually has probably taken the lead around the outside of it, as there's plenty more change of position further behind.
1 through 8, you saw the squealing of tires, you saw the rubber being left on the surface. This is a high quality race number 1. We're just halfway through race 1 of 10 in this season. Still leading, 6 minutes to go. We are now on to lap number 7.
And around the outside goes Thasbeeh. Does he make it stick? Oh, that is a very, very close one. But he has the DRS and now he can pull away. Ayman again has to fend off for his life, being a sitting duck against an armada of Mercedes cars right behind him.
45 seconds of the race to go, but they will cross the start-finish line and there will be a sprint for the finish, Amo Hazik.
Dash to the line indeed. As Thasbeeh runs wide. Thasbeeh runs absolutely wide, and he gives Ayman the lead. Now, tactically, if he's smart enough, he will actually try to hang back and get the DRS. Because look at that. Right now, Ayman has DRS, but once he crosses the line, that DRS advantage will end, and the rest of them will try to attack him for the lead.
Naquib will have DRS. He is in P2. He dragged Nabil through with him. Inigo Anton into P4. Thasbeeh's mistake has cost him. Is Naquib going to make his move around the outside of corner 1? Naquib is edged out. Naquib certainly in P2 at the moment, but he's made his first move. Has he shown his hand too early, Amo Hazik?
I think it might have been too early, but he's still got plenty of corners left to do, including this one. Coming out to Albon corner. I'm on the inside. Naquib on the outside. And remember, he only has a few more corners to use the DRS. No, that's the opportunity gone now. Unless he can recover it in time. This is crazy stuff. And amazingly, Ayman still leads.
Ayman still leads, and look at this, as coming through is Muhammad Thasbeeh past Nabil on the inside. It is a last lap sprint. Ayman Aqeem Tadashi was the sitting duck, but he's pulled away 0.6 of a second from Naquib, who's made two unsuccessful attempts to take him. Thasbeeh goes on the outside, but Tadashi, is he able to hold on? Naquib under pressure, drops out. Thasbeeh takes a sensational victory. Nabil for P2, Thasbeeh 3, and Naquib in 3, Thasbeeh 4, Inigo 5. The red lights are on at the moment. When they go out, we will be underway. Race 2 is up and running. Kintos off to a good start. So is Simke Wern. Harris Zephi extends his way into P2. Solid stuff and contact on the front. Harris Zephi is forced wide as Kintos says, "Get out of it. That's my corner."
Now, Mesbilton tries to go through around the outside. They're still bumping and boring each other. Luckily that they have panels now like wheels in open wheel cars. As he tries to dive in on the inside, Harris goes wide, and it's now going to be a mad scrap all the way to Albon corner in turn 3. Look at that, almost 3 abreast, coming through second to fifth. This is absolutely maddening racing.
And the man who has got himself in the lead after all of that bumping and grinding is Josh Purwien. So he's worked his way through. But I tell you what, the battle between Kintos and Harris Zephi, neither was giving an inch there. They may be in sims in different parts of the world, but there's certainly a little bit of animosity between those two.
Because Naquib has gone through him, and he's attacking Josh around the outside.
Naquib Azlan eases his way into P1. Josh Purwien moves out to defend against Harris Zephi. Goes wide, does Naquib, but is able to get a good drive through. Looked like it made a slight mistake, but he's under pressure from Josh Purwien and Harris Zephi.
Well, that's a different battle altogether because they're now in 2 separate groups at the front. And here's Josh now having to look behind. He's not looking in the mirrors. Now he's looking there for a second. He's gonna let Naquib through, and they're probably gonna share each other's slipstream again, at least until the final 2 minutes, I reckon, so that they're gonna go at it for the win.
On to the final lap. Naquib Azlan leads over the line onto the final lap, but Josh Purwien, Amo Azik, is the man who will have DRS. But is he close enough?
Well, not yet, not that time around, but he does have the DRS because he was within half a second there when they crossed the line. Now the gloves are off, they have a license to hammer, and they can hammer at it, hammer and tongs for the final lap.
Naquib defends at this corner. It was such a brave race one where Ayman Aqeem Tadashi was able to hold on under the most immense pressure for a full lap. Naquib is trying to replicate that. Ayman Aqeem will not get any points today. He was left on the line. Naquib under pressure as Purwien tries to go around the outside. Naquib defends. It's a stellar drive from Naquib Azlan at the moment, Amo.
Indeed, and the fact that Naquib defends so well and he knows how to attack as well. He's shown qualities of a really good driver, but he gets knocked out of it by Josh there. Goes very wide. Josh takes the lead.
Josh Purwien from Australia, pole setter, has the lead, and has he timed this perfectly? He's just taken the initiative coming into the final quarter of the lap. Naquib may well have to settle for P2 as Purwien leads the way. Josh Purwien from Australia, last corner, Purwien against Naquib. Naquib maybe tries to get right on the corner, but Josh Purwien takes 25 points in the victory. Naquib Azlan in P2, Thasbeeh 3, Anton 4. Well, talk about last lap drama in both of those races. Naquib Azlan second in both, but dramatic opening, Alex. You wanted to go right to the line every time.
Yeah, that's what we do. We curate exciting racing. The DRS always makes it very exciting. It's always everyone on an even playing field, and when they're as good as they are, they all end up being the same.
That was the Red Bull Ring. This week you've chosen Hockenheim. It's got its challenges of its own, and you've got a flying lap from a guy who won race 1 last week, Ayman Aqeem Tadashi.
You can see here it's a hot lap mode, time attack mode there, starting on the 3rd sector, last 2 corners here. You want to bring as much speed as possible down into the start finish straight here. You want to place your car far right to the left here to get into your first turn here. Get it right, get all the speed. Get it wrong, you will lose all the speed here. As you can see here, get it a little bit of wrong there. losing a little bit of time into the second corner here. You want to spot your braking a little bit early here. Clip the apex and get a little bit sliding here. That's not what you want. You want to get a good exit here, because this is where the make or break of your race here. It's a long left parabolica. This is where you want to plan your overtake, plan your move, plan your dinner, plan where you want to go after the race. But do not forget, there's a braking zone into this hairpin here. You don't want to miss it and go back to the forest behind there. It's not ideal. It's not ideal where you want to go. As we exit the hairpin there, nice and smooth on the throttle here. Into the right hand king here, into the Mercedes arena here, Mercedes curve. We're driving a Mercedes. Hopefully you can hear a little bit of crouch here into the weekend here. As you can see here, second gear, third gear, a little bit of lift off to the right hand corner here. You want to eliminate the understeer. As we can see here, fourth gear, fifth gear, down into the closing to the stadium section here. You want to clip inside as much as possible here. Fourth gear, third gear, down to second here. This is where Sebastian Vettel lost his lead in the 2018 German Grand Prix here. We don't want to do that as well. As we can see here, down into the double last two corners here. There's a drag strip around this left hand side there if you want to know. And yeah, here we go. That's the lap of me in Hockenheimring.
Great stuff from Ayman Aqeem Tadashi, and qualifying has started, and we are on board with him now to see if he can replicate that lap and get into the top 5, and ideally for Tadashi into the top 1. Alex, he was very good last week.
Yeah, he is. This is going to be a cool, good lap to watch. Here he comes out of turn 3. He's on that long straight, and he's purple in sector 1. Massive, massive long straight. This is where all the business happens in the race later. All the overtaking, attacking and defending, sparring down this long straight into this hairpin. This hairpin we're just coming up now. It's all about braking late and getting on the power early. It's not so important to hit the apex. He hits the apex nicely there, but it's very important to brake late. And if it means you go wide around that corner, that's okay, because you can get on the power really early, and that really does help in race situations. Now through these next few corners, like you said, Mercedes arena now. Ooh, misses the apex. Oh, that's going to bleed lap time. 3/10 maybe. 2-3/10 there for Ayman Aqeem. So, what might go purple at this stage because he's the first car on track. I'm not sure this will be good enough for pole position. That small mistake there. Now he's into the stadium section proper. Gets out of there. This hairpin here, it's all about getting off the brake and carrying the speed down into the camber of the corner. Use the camber of the corner to keep you down low. Couple more corners to go. Double right coming up right here. You've got to carry so much speed and use all the curb. Use a sausage curb to stop yourself. Then, oh, I see. Picks up the throttle really early out of the last corner. That was good out of the last corner. And at the moment, this might be P1.
Actually, it's P5, Alex, because Ayman Hazik, Naquib Azlan, Inigo Anton have all gone quicker, as has this man, Muhammad Thasbeeh, who I inadvertently called as race winner in race 1 last week, but he's quick as well, and Thasbeeh posting a 1:35.5 for P4 at the moment, and they've still got time for one more lap each.
Yeah, let's see how he goes here. Oh, he didn't like lap. What? He didn't like turn 1, so he's going to restart that lap again. You can do that. Shall we see what Josh Purwien is doing? It'd be quite interesting to see how Josh is doing. He's coming. Oh, he's also starting a lap, I think. Is this starting a lap or finishing a lap?
Josh, he is
starting a lap.
Starting a lap.
So he's P4. He doesn't want to be that far down. But what a great lap by Ayman Hazik, though. He's been in Japan over the last few months. Just got back to Malaysia. Has a new steering wheel and is doing him great favors. He's P1 at the moment.
How about visiting Inigo Anton, because he is growing and growing and growing, and is fastest by 800ths. Coming into Sector 1. At the moment, P1 and 2 are Ayman Hazik and Naquib Azlan. We'll speak about Ayman Hazik in a while, but Inigo Anton at the moment, Alex, how's that looking for you?
Ooh. God, gets it sideways on the way in, and that's
not
it.
good.
No, not
Spectacular,
good at all.
but not very effective.
Well,
will he have time? Will he have time?
Yeah.
1:34, he just. You know, he's not. No, he's not going to have time.
Let's pick up with Naquib then. Well, Naquib's gone purple in Sector 1. Okay, this is the man that's second in the championship at the moment. Guts through the hairpin. Ooh, just sideways on the way in as well, but just got away with that. Using a lot of brake bias to the rear to get the car rotated the hairpin. Seemed to work fine. Easy flat through this bit, back into the Mercedes arena. Ooh, that's nice. That's really nice. Well done. That looks really good. A very hard corner to get. It looks like a very simple corner, but it's hard to get it right consistently. Oof, a little bit of moving.
Sector 2, still fastest, 2/10.
Wow, that's good, isn't it? Nice, Sector 2. Don't forget, he's carrying 15 kilos, not 15 kilos, sorry, 12 kilos of ballast at this stage after finishing second in round 1.
This is qualifying. Ayman Aqeem is the man who's ahead of him. A 1:35.0 at the moment for Naquib as he comes round to finish this lap. Currently P2. This is now P1. Ayman Aqeem, a 1:34.9. Only 2 racers inside 1:35. Oof. Make that 3 because Muhammad Thasbeeh has just come into P2. Ayman Aqeem shoved down to P3 by 2 racers coming in the final 10 seconds of qualification. Championship leader Josh Purwien in 4. Philippines Inigo Anton alongside Tadashi on the 4th row of the grid. And Mohammed Zini and Ungjung Cheng, they are next in line. Alex Young took us through the qualification and will rejoin us for post-race interviews. But Amo Hazika, a very talented racer in his own right, joined us in the commentary box. And Amo, that was good for Thasbeeh, who took P2 behind Naquib Azlan. But your namesake, Ayman Aqeem, very impressive in P3 in his first start of the season.
Yeah, in fact, he came back from Japan in a rush to get back into the saddle, actually. He brought that new wheel, a direct drive wheel, and immediately he goes fast. So definitely he is not rusty, showing signs of rust at all.
We are at the Hockenheimring. There is Amo. The dulcet tones will become clear. He's very enthusiastic, gets the angles right and gives us the inside knowledge of the races. This is the gold class, and Naquib Azlan is on the front row of the grid. 2 P2s last time out for Naquib. Josh Purwien, the championship leader, in P4 on qualification. Amo, is that going to be good enough, do you think, for him?
Well, in terms of the championship stakes, Naquib has actually taken the lead from him,
yes.
So he might just want to actually get back at him in the race. So the race is going to be crucial for both drivers.
You have called that absolutely right, because you pick up the 5 points for the top. Right, when the red lights go out, we will be underway for the first of 2 races. 15 minutes worth. Naquib Azlan in the blue is off to a solid start. And behind him, Naquib. Oh gosh, Naquib could not want for a better start than that, Amo Aqeem. That is textbook.
A very clear getaway. He got the whole shot all to himself as the other drivers were trying to actually shuffle around to get positions. He couldn't ask for a better start, indeed, Des. And look at that. He's already about 5 tenths ahead. It's going to be increasing even more if the drivers start fighting coming to the hairpin.
Ayman Aqeem got himself ahead of Thasbeeh into P2 as well, so that is a good job. You said he made a rush to get here, but as we have a look at the overhead, the helicopter view, as they come down into corner number 2 at the top end, it is Naquib Azlan who's got a half-second lead. Not much contact, which is very good. Everybody behaving very, very gently at the moment. Very unlike these drivers, Amo.
Yeah, indeed. And the fact that it's a short race, so they really want to get the giddy up on as soon as possible when the lights go out. So for them to actually not be going argy-bargy is quite a surprise. But at the same time, we also have to remember they got the incident point system, so they don't want to get knocked out too early in the race.
Indeed, indeed. Tadashi in P6. We are on board with championship leader Josh Purwien, who's lost 1 position to the man in grey in front of him, Inigo Anton. So Josh, 4th place, 2 points in qualification, already off top spot and already trailing this man, Naquib Azlan. This is a fabulous start from Naquib through lap 1. They'll come through lap 1 and he will have a 6 or 7 tenths of a second lead from Ayman Aqeem and a 1.5 second lead from Thasbeeh.
Crucially, he doesn't have the DRS to Thasbeeh because he's well behind. But Ayman Aqeem, he does have an opportunity to close that gap because that DRS strength is quite powerful. And unfortunately for Ayman, though, Thasbeeh also has the DRS, so they might catch each other up. But at the front, Ayman Aqeem actually has an opportunity to get at Naquib Azlan and pressure him just slightly for the lead.
Still 13 minutes to race. Naquib Azlan in the blue Mercedes leading the way. Ayman Aqeem behind him. Now, is he going to have a go here? The DRS is on and he's going for the lead. He's going for glory. And are you recommending that as a course of action, Amo?
Well, in this case, because compared to Red Bull Ring, which was short, the Hockenheimring is just slightly longer, so getting into the lead this early might actually be beneficial, and the fact that he's trying to pull the gap away from Thasbeeh further behind, so Ayman Aqeem is trying to make a beeline for it with Naquib, so if they both can work together to get away from Thasbeeh, the better.
Behind them, Thasbeeh in the yellow, the man you're just talking about. Inigo Anton tracking Thasbeeh and Josh Purwien tracking him, and then Ayman Aqeem Tadashi tracking him. Paul Faustino and Mohammed Zini 7th and 8th. Unjung Cheng in 9th. Mohammed Nabil, who we shouldn't really forget, he's in P10. Gosh, right the way down to P11. This is a procession and not much space between any of the cars.
Oh, indeed, and the fact that all of them are within DRS range, actually, all the way to Wei Xiong in 20th, they're all within DRS range of each other. So any one of these guys, if they could get close, they could create a battle pack, and that battle pack is something that we saw just like in the Red Bull Ring. It could create up to a string of 7, like we're seeing right now.
It is a string, great adjective, a string of beads almost. Ayman Aqeem is the man who leads into the 3rd lap. Naquib Azlan in the blue, Thasbeeh in the yellow. Nice colourful scene, great graphics from Race Room as the overhead view shows us how close this racing is. Josh Purwien is behind Inigo Anton.
Yeah, man.
So Anton in the grey, Purwien the first of those 2 pinks, and then you've got Tadashi. Gosh, this is a procession. We're not used to seeing this kind of racing as they close in at the end of that lap, that hairpin. They all come very, very congested, but everybody behaving, Ammo.
Yeah, that's actually quite a nice thing to see, because, well, from a racing perspective, but from the neutral perspective, it's not going to be good because they're not going to create too much action. But having said that, Naquib just took the lead back from Ayman Aqeem, and now Ayman Aqeem, without the DRS, he's going to get swamped by the field here.
He certainly is, because Inigo Anton's trying to go around the outside of Ayman Aqeem as well. Indeed, Inigo in the grey gets on the inside line, bit of contact, and the Filipino goes through into P2. Thasbeeh tries to force his way through as well, and suddenly Ayman Aqeem, from being in the lead, is down into P3 and under pressure from cars behind him. Thasbeeh, Purwien, Tadashi, Zini and Faustino.
And because of that overtaking maneuver from Naquib and Ayman Aqeem not being able to challenge back, Naquib has opened up a 1.5 second lead. He can actually make a beeline for it here, and he has the added benefit of you still using part of that DRS. Look at that. He's still using that rear wing. It only closes now. It gains him valuable time at the front. So 1.6 seconds, he has broken the DRS range from himself and Inigo. So this is a great time for him to build a lead from the guys in front of the chasing pack.
Great tactics from Naquib Azlan, or are they? It's very, very early to call this. We are just 1/3 of the way through race 1 at Hockenheim. Global edition of eRacing GP, gold class, gold stars. Inigo Anton leading the chase, but that gap is actually slightly increased a little bit. Anton under pressure from Aqeem. Thasbeeh around the outside and then holds it on the inside. Thasbeeh to P2, but is he forced wide?
They're going to go 3 wide here, coming to the Mercedes-Benz arena because Ayman Aqeem's got the switch back. I think he's on the inside right now. Inigo, yeah, there we go. They're side by side coming out to the Mercedes-Benz arena. Inigo Anton has to pull out of it because he has no DRS. He can't fight back. And Thasbeeh somehow manages to hold on to second because he was on the inside line. Ayman Aqeem has to go around the outside. So now Thasbeeh has to hold these guys off for the next lap or 2 because he's lost the DRS to get to the guys in front. He's going to be the perennial sitting duck here if he were to be battling harder. If he's going to be tactical, he will try to stay behind Ayman Aqeem, but that's not going to tell it. You're not going to tell a race car driver to back up. They still want to push for it.
However, they also want to be clever about it, Amo, surely, because they're 2 seconds down on Naquib Azlan. If they work together, they can claw that lead back, but they're running out. Oh, somebody, is that lag?
Yeah,
or does
lag.
it spin out? Yeah, sorry. So it's ignore the visuals. The lead is 2 seconds for Azlan from Thasbeeh. Aqeem and Inigo Anton. A guy who's been dropped on quite badly is Josh Purwien. Josh was in that group of 4 immediately behind Thasbeeh. Now he's in P8, being overtaken by Zini and Faustino.
Well, he's not going to be bothered a bit too much by being overtaken at the moment because he's still within that gaggle of cars that can use. Look at that. A string of cars all the way up to 13th place. You can see it visually. They're still within earshot of each other. They can still have DRS, but unfortunately for the guy like Thasbeeh we're looking at, he's going to get swamped. And right now we're going to see it here as Ayman Aqeem goes onto the inside.
It's the old peloton analogy, isn't it? As Ayman Aqeem. Great comeback from Ayman. He's got himself back into P2 and they're closing the gap on Naquib Azlan. It was 1.9 seconds. It's now 1.6 as Ruben Leon gets a drive-through penalty. So there's still plenty to go. We're at the halfway point of this race. But Naquib Azlan certainly hasn't got this one yet.
No, not yet, but 1.7 seconds, anything can still happen. In fact, we forgot to mention this at the top of the show, but it's actually ×4 tire wear. So tire management will come into the fore here because it's at its worst setting. ×4, you're gonna have to you're shredding through tires like through a 50-minute race is equivalent to running through 1 hour of a race.
So you call it worst, I call it at the absolute best, please, because it means the drivers are going to be driving on blocks of ice by the time we reach the final minute or so. And that makes life very interesting. Look at that. Ayman Aqeem has gone into the pits. Is that a tyre change? Surely not.
Yes, it is. It is. We didn't see a drive-through. There was no drive-through penalty that was given on the timing screen. So this is actually a pit stop during a 50-minute race. The ×4 tyre wear has actually bitten Ayman Aqeem. Now, will this pit stop be beneficial or detrimental? We'll wait. We'll have to wait and see because the other drivers, and I thought so. In fact, the other guy that was coming to the pits, I think, was Jung Cheng. So yeah. Not many drivers, in fact 4 drivers now are looking into the pits. The other drivers who have seen that might be thinking now they want to make a pit stop too, just in case to cover up Ayman Aqeem.
And while we were watching that, the lead for Naquib has gone up to 3 seconds. So he has put in a blistering lap. It was an invalid lap, his last lap. He's broken the race limits, but he must have been in the 137s.
No, 36 is actually the fastest. In
That's
fact,
his fastest. He must have been close to that.
Yeah, it was. In fact, 36.2 is the fastest lap right now, and it's held by Thasbeeh we're looking at. So, fastest lap at the moment goes to Thasbeeh, and he has been fast in races. In fact, he got the first ever fastest lap for the season last time at the Red Bull Ring, albeit being penalized as
Nabil goes up ahead of Paul Faustino.
Wow, that is a very typical maneuver. In fact, we see the World Finals for DTM in 2016. That's the kind of maneuvers that you expect because these cars can actually follow each other quite well despite being aero heavy. And Faustino just lost a bit because he tried to get back on the throttle trying to get back at Nabil, and unfortunately he lost a bit of momentum. Meanwhile, we're looking through drivers further behind. Here's Harris trying to hold off James Russell. So James, after having a strong race in silver, is now getting back to his old sparring partner back in the silver days. So some of the boys who have actually gotten from the lower classes are battling each other now in the top class as more and more drivers come to the pits.
Indeed, this is fascinating. Naquib Azlan has stayed out there. It means that Muhammad Thasbeeh is in P2. Tadashi has come in. The ×4 tyre wear must be worrying them now. If Naquib decides to stay out and trust his tyres, he hasn't been racing Naquib, has he? So he will have been able to conserve his tyres despite the rapid pace that he's been putting together.
Indeed, and the fact that so for guys like, we're gonna mention Purwien here because he's like a yardstick to mention. He's the championship leader. Further behind, he didn't actually battle that much. He just follows everybody around. So he's in the best shape to actually go all the way to the end here, since he has not been pushing those tires like hell like some of the other drivers. And meanwhile, guys like Ayman Aqeem, he's actually gotten the jump on Ayman Aqeem, for example. He's up to 12th after being right at the back of the grid. So the drivers who are making the pit stops are coming through to the fore here because they can overtake the other drivers on fresh set of rubber. The ones who are now conserving have to look behind their shoulders here and to wait for the inevitable somewhat.
This is Ayman Aqeem, who you just mentioned. He's got the entertaining Mark Voltaire Elman for company. Great graphics as the cameraman gets out of the way rapidly. Ayman, who was in the lead at one stage, he was the first into the pits. This is the race leader, Naquib Azlan. The big question is he going to just nurse those tyres home? 2.5 second lead. Thasbeeh hasn't been into the pits. Neither has Inigo Anton. Neither has Josh Purwien. So the front 4, nor has Nabil, nor Faustino, nor lies Sky. So it's a big gamble. Do you stay out? Because with 3 minutes to go, it's suicide to go into the pits with this close to the end of the race.
Absolutely, Des. You cannot come in now because, like, for example, we're watching, keeping an eye on Ayman Aqeem. He's closing the gap in on Naquib Azlan. It was 18.5 seconds. Now it's 17.3 between him and Naquib. So pitting now, Naquib will lose the lead of the race. So he's gonna have to go all the way and risk having a puncture, which is inevitable because we saw that in the earlier races like Formula 3. Some drivers incurred a puncture because they actually stayed out too long and their tires just gave in. In fact, Francis Angelo Gonzalez was lucky to even finish the race where he had a puncture and Thasbeeh now being overtaken by Inigo.
There's still some racing going on. Thasbeeh in the yellow loses P2 to Inigo Anton. Keep calling him the fast Filipino. There's a reason for that. He's Filipino and he's fast. Just put in a 1:38.0. As you say, the best lapper in the 1:36.2s. If you're in the 1:38s, they're conserving tyre wear ammo. Would that be a correct supposition?
No.
Mistake from Anton. It allows Thasbeeh back through.
Just as you mentioned there about tyre conservation, that's just one of the key things they had to avoid, running too wide and scrubbing a lot. Because times 4 tyre wear, every single corner that you enter, you're going to waste about 1% of your tyre life. So a turn like that where he went so wide and started scrubbing, he might just lose up to 3% because of the severity of the tyre wear. So yes, they are in tyre conservation mode, and that's why they're almost 1.4 seconds to 2 seconds slower. And worst news for them is, like, we're watching Muhammad Nabil trying to hold off Paul Faustino and Lai Sky. Guys like Ayman Aqeem are making ground on them by a rate of knots, but I think it might be too little too late because we are about 2 laps to go-ish right now towards the end of the race, and Ayman Aqeem is well and truly behind it unless something dramatic happens to them like a puncture.
Naquib Azlan, Nabil's brother, is the man who is in the lead as Nabil loses out to Josh Purwien. Josh, who was the championship leader coming into this round 2 of 5, he moves himself serenely into P4. Not much actual opposition there from Nabil. Think of the tyres, think of the tyres, think of the tyres. That's uppermost in the mind. And Nabil then can just look back and maybe get some slipstream. No DRS for him there. Naquib Azlan, though, he has been superb. Ayman, P10, you mentioned he's making ground, but he's losing. He's not making enough ground. Naquib Azlan looks to have got this perfect, but there could still be a puncture.
Indeed, and the fact that we don't have tyre that percent,
No, we don't do it. Nah.
Yeah, we don't have that. We have only damage to get it, so we can only assume that these tyres are now on their last legs as Thasbeeh there goes over the sausage curb coming out of the Mercedes-Benz arena. Luckily, he didn't lose it because Anton could have easily got him at him straight away through the stadium section. Holds on to second. This is going to be the battle all the way to the last corner for sure because they're the only 2 guys who are in the middle of nowhere right now on the final position of the rostrum. Naquib is well and truly ahead. They can't catch it now unless we mention again something dramatic happens like tyre punctures. This is the top 3 as it stands coming into the final lap.
We are indeed now on the final lap. On board P2, Muhammad Thasbeeh from Singapore. Behind them, Josh Purwien is able to hold off Nabil. This is the battle for P4. I suspect Purwien's too far behind Nabil. Again, though, we ask about the tyre wear. It is the great imponderable. Behind them, you've got Lai Sky. James Russell has got himself up to P8. Harry Zephy is chasing them, and they're right on the back of Paul Faustino. So some bonus points there for Russell in the blue and Harry Zephy in the black, the Red Bull black. Good battle for them. Who said they're not racing, Des?
Yeah, we could probably ask ourselves that why they were not racing too hard. We're seeing that towards the end of the race because screw tyre wear. They're going to throw it out of the window. Now you're going to have to race hard. And look at that. Harry's actually using the DRS to good effect to overtake James Russell, and James just nicked him at there towards the second corner, but still not over yet. It's far from over because they still got 2 sectors to go before the end of the race. As meanwhile, Ayman Aqeem further behind is chasing both of them.
Ayman Aqeem is chasing both of them. Up at the front though, Naquib is still leading. And there is Naquib Azlan. And this has been an excellent performance, but we are on tenterhooks for him, no doubt. He is monitoring his tyre wear. He's just nursing the engine home, nursing the tyres home. He's got a nice healthy lead. Even if he had a puncture, you suspect that he'd be able to glide home. 2.5 seconds clear. Naquib Azlan will be the new championship leader. Naquib takes the maximum 25 points and goes to the top of the leaderboard. Naquib ahead of Thasbeeh, Josh Purwien 3, Lai Sky in 4, ahead of Inigo Anton, who's clearly had a puncture, Muhammad Nabil in 5.
And Nabil also has a puncture as well. He's nursing his way. In fact, look at that. He's just overtaken by Harris to the line. And James Russell as well, just about. It's almost nicking Nabil for P7. Ayman Aqeem 9th and Ayman Aqeem 10th. So the tire stops have not paid off. The gamble has absolutely not paid off, so they might ponder that for the second race.
Well, there is the man, and Naquib, we know what he looks like. Can we hear what he sounds like, Naquib? Are you available? Just have a quick word with us.
Hello, hello.
Hello,
Can you hear me?
Naquib. Yeah, that looked very, very impressive, but we were worried in commentary about tyre wear. How close were you to running on empty on tyres?
Very close, in fact. With this tire wear at times 4, it's been really difficult. But thankfully, I was able to manage it throughout the whole race. But it was definitely coming close in the end there.
A couple of the guys went in for pit stops. Was that ever a thinking in your strategy?
Yeah, so coming into the week, preparing for this, it was either going to be a no stop or a one stop. I thought the no stop was quicker, and thankfully it showed today.
Well, it's another impressive performance. It will put you to the top of the standings. We'll let you get it ready and prepare for race number 2, because you'll be starting in P12 in race number 2, and it could be quite dicey.
It's going to be fun.
Naquib Azlan, Amo, as always, very cool, calm, collected, and didn't look particularly nervous about running into tyre problems, but there he is. He's got himself P1. Ayman Aqeem, a 1:35.990 to get the fastest lap.
Absolutely. You can get bonus points for the fastest lap, but ultimately it's up to you whether you can make up for it after the pit stop to actually gain more points. And for Ayman Aqeem, that gamble has not paid off. Now with that out of the way, drivers might start thinking about doing the no stop for the second race, which Naquib just mentioned earlier. So that will be an interesting proposition. Will the drivers do the same thing and try to race each other even harder? Or some of the guys who actually did not stop at the first race, all of them will be thinking about pitting after this? It's a question that's waiting to be answered.
We are at Hockenheim. It is the countdown to race number 2 of round 2. Amo Aqeem alongside Des Corkill in the commentary box. Very, very quickly, if you were in the cockpit, would you be going for a one-stop strategy, or would you just nurse those tyres all the way around the 15 minutes?
Nurse it. Absolutely, just nurse it, because as Naquib mentioned as well in his interview, that it is the fastest way to finish a race, because it's all about the delta. The longer you count it towards every single lap put together, it has to be a no stop to actually get the fastest way around the circuit.
Okay, the countdown is on. When we come back, it's a reverse grid start. That means the man at the very top will be Mohammed Khalif, Paul Faustino, Tadashi on P3, Ayman Aqeem P4, James Russell 5. We are underway, and look at that. Tadashi has got off to a thunderous start, and Tadashi's taken James Russell with him. Tadashi into the first corner. Wow, there is the benefit of a poor race 1. It means you can get off to a flyer, Amo Aqeem, in race 2.
And of course, he also had the benefit of knowing how to use the launch control and perfect clutch control to get off the line. Look at that, 7/10ths up coming through turn 4 already. This is actually one race that Ayman would like to win, because after retiring in race 2 last time at the Red Bull Ring, he means business.
James Russell in P3. Haris Zephy, who put in a couple of nifty little moves in race 1, he's got himself up into P2. But Tadashi's lead as they come into the hairpin, turn number 6, halfway through the first lap, a lead of 1.5 seconds from Haris Zephy. Now then, he won't be racing either, so he can, as we said, nurse those tyres, while everyone else behind them is in danger of having to use just a little bit of tyre wear as they battle with their competitors.
Yep, normally we would say in racing that you don't think about the first corner winning races, but in this case, being the race being so short and the tyre being so severe, you're gonna have to make up all those positions as much as possible during the first few corners, because look at that. To the benefit of Ayman Aqeem, he has a 1.6 second gap, well clear of DRS, and now he can just probably look forward into trying to nurse the tyres all the way. He definitely would not be thinking about doing a pit stop in this race.
We are on board with Mohammed Nabil, the brother of the championship leader Naquib Azlan. Naquib is down in P10, Nabil in P3, and look at that, Malaysia 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Australia's Josh Purwien ahead of Philippines, Inigo Anton 6 and 7. Nabil is somebody you should never write off, and he's right on the tail there of Haris Zephy. All the drivers are behaving, aren't they? Oh, very good. Very, very restrained as Russell goes through. Josh Purwien in P6. He's just behind James Russell. And Josh, after a very, very good round 1, has struggled a little bit at Hockenheim, Amo Aqeem.
Yeah, he is. And the first race just now where he finished, looking at the results, I think it was P3. Yeah, he actually wasn't struggling that badly, but he could have wished that he would be nearer to Naquib in this round. And the way that Naquib has actually gotten pole position and won that first race, he wouldn't want to actually lose more points here battling with other drivers needlessly.
Thasbeeh, who was very involved in race number 1, he's got himself up into P6. He's the man just behind Purwien. Muhammad Thasbeeh from Singapore. Famous racing family and the eRacing anyway, and always looks controlled, always looks in control of things. But so how, when the tyre wear is dangerous, how focused do you become? Do you ever take your eye off the road, or are you just aware that the tyres are a problem?
You'll be aware of it because you kind of have that kind of tunnel vision where you focus on the track, but at the same time the numbers that you see on screen, depending on what app you use when you drive, the numbers of those tires when they start dropping is when you start focusing on it. So it's just two-way vision. Drivers around you won't probably matter that much unless you start battling, but it's kind of like a tunnel vision. You just really want to hope that the tires are not going to wear out too much, and you have to adapt that to your driving.
Mohammed Nabil was using the last of his DRS. He got past Haris Zefi coming into the start of lap 3. They are all trailing Ayman Aqeem Tadashi quite considerably, but Nabil in that lovely light grey colour. Looks a beautiful vehicle. Ayman Haziq has also made a very, very decent fist of this. We're on board here with Ayman in P4, 6th gear, 8,000, 8,500 revs as they come down this long straight. This is a thrilling straight, and then you've just got to anchor onto the brakes at the end, Ammo.
Yeah, absolutely, Des, because you're going to have to play the dive bomber here and hope that the guy in front of you knows that you're there. In this case, Haris knew that Ayman was there and he just ducked out of the way to prevent a collision. But now, Ayman might actually be considering not to actually be the falling victim to him after this, because they both have DRS by the looks of things, because Haris' rear wing just now just flapped open. So this battle's not over. Nabil will definitely be the sitting duck next time by, unless he could pull off a big gap, like about a second gap through the final sectors to actually prevent Ayman to use the DRS, and he will become the sitting duck afterwards.
There is Ayman Haziq. It's Nabil there chasing. Tadashi's lead is increasing as we just get over the wall. Ayman Aqeem Tadashi. It has been as high as 2 seconds. It's down to 1.7 just as he slows down, but he'll accelerate over the start finish line and go into lap 4, and then we'll get the real differential. Just under 2 seconds for Tadashi. This is good. This is a fast part of the track as well. They go around the Nord curve and up to corner number 2. He's doing everything right so far, Ammo.
Yeah, indeed. And in fact, that the thing about Ayman is, and ominously for the other drivers, he doesn't lose races from here. He's the type of guy that once he gets into the lead, he'll be like Schumacher, Senna, or Hamilton. They would just pull away at the front and not look back. They rarely make mistakes at the front. They're all cool operators.
You're quite right. He had a thrilling final lap, hold off all the pressure in Red Bull Ring last week. This is a very different kind of lap. It's he came from the start from P3, got himself in there. Ayman Haziq moves up into P2. Welcome back, Ayman. We did miss you last week, fella.
Yeah, now it's a Blue Steel Racing 1-2. That would be great for the team's championship. And of course, we also have Darren Ivan and Sim Kai-wen in the race, but unfortunately they're not going to score points in this one. It's going to be a great finish for the team if they could keep it right now, but Ayman Haziq knows full well he's got 6 hungry guys right behind wanting to get onto the rostrum.
It really is. They just look like they want to eat him up. Josh Purwien is part of those. Naquib Azlan we hadn't mentioned. He's eased his way up into P6. He easily does it. Oh. Right on the tail of Josh Purwien. Looked like a bit of contact between Naquib and Josh. He's a bit of a bully sometimes, Naquib.
Yeah, he is. He's to some of the other drivers that I've spoken to, he's just known to give, door-to-door action. It's just common because some drivers like to have the term rubbing his racing taken quite literally, and Naki's one of them. And the fact that what happened last weekend at the Red Bull Ring, no love lost between him and Josh. They're going at it hammer and tongs. So yeah, that battle is going to go all the way throughout the season unless Naquib can build, hey, while the sun shines here, and try to increase that championship lead, which is exactly what he's doing right now.
Naquib Azlan just posted a 1:36.5. It's not the fastest lap. His previous lap was a 1:36.0, which I think is the fastest lap at the moment. That's the battle for P5. He's got Purwien and Inigo Anton has joined that. Haris Zefi has dropped the right way down. Naquib now under pressure. Ayman Haziq goes on the inside. Who's that? Oh, Nabil.
nearly took out his brother in the process while trying to
We've
overtake
seen that before.
And guess what? The driver in front is Thasbeeh, and he was involved in that little scrap that actually ended Naquib's chances of winning the championship last time out. So a bit of deja vu there. It's going to be a running theme throughout the entire season if all three are together. In fact, look at that. That's Thasbeeh and his cousin Jim has built it right beside him. So no Sidemen hoodie this week. I know that hoodie symbol anyway he was wearing. He's just focusing right now, trying to keep everyone at bay behind, while knowing full well that 1.4 seconds is too much to make up between himself and Ayman.
We are just beyond halfway. We've got 7 minutes to race. Naquib and Thasbeeh are chasing. Up at the front, I tell you what, Tadashi's not been able to pull away. Ammo, would that be of worry to him? He's been able to hold the lead, he's been able to control, but he's not been able to extend that lead ever beyond 2 seconds.
Actually, I think because he's in tire conservation mode, there's because he had that gap made for him after the first lap, because he just pulled away after having that blinding start, and now he's just thinking of conserving the tires bit by bit, not to turn too much into every corner, just the right amount of steering angle coming in and out to reduce that tire wear, which I did mention earlier was at 1% every time you take a turn. So he's taking that into account, and with 2 seconds or around thereabout, between 1.5 and 2 is the most he could do right now, because the guys behind are battling so hard.
There is that battle. Naquib is the man who's in P2. He's took Thasbeeh on the previous corner. 6 minutes to race. Thasbeeh in P3. Muhammad Nabil in 4. Talk about a family affair. 2 and 4. Naquib and Nabil. Josh Purwien 5. Inigo Anton 6. Ayman in 7. Further down, we haven't really mentioned the likes of Darren Ivan and Mark Voltaire or Paul Faustino. Sim K-Wern in P15 at the moment. Rare moment in the spotlight for K-Wern in the BMW, and Brody Steen just ahead of them in the identically coloured BMW.
Look at the damage.
Just a mention for them, because the racing at the front is so hectic. As Harris Zephy gets close on the back of Ayman Haziq. That's the battle for P8. Harris has certainly put himself around today.
Indeed, and the fact that after being taken out last time out of the Red Bull Ring in race 2, he will want to actually get a good result here. 9th is his only best finish so far right now, and 8th, if he keeps up where this is going, it will be his best finish of the season. So yeah, this will be something that he will try to cherish, because points on offer in this particular class, especially with the amount of caliber of drivers that we have, is quite difficult sometimes to get by. So any type of points is considered an achievement here.
Let me take you up to the front. I'm going to revisit this. I know you're confident that Tadashi is just conserving tyres, but that lead ahead of Naquib is down to 0.7 of a second. Is he still conserving?
Well, hello, I didn't notice that. Now that would definitely be concerning for Ayman, because he is as we say, is a sitting duck at the front. He has no DRS, no benefit of having someone to follow to get the slipstream and the DRS too. So he's going to hold off here. It's going to be a repeat of what happened in round 1, race 1, where he has to hold down Naquib Azlan.
We've still got, 4.5 minutes to go. They're lapping around about 130, 140, so 3. So this lap and 3 others, Ammo?
Just about 3 laps. So Ayman now has to hold on again for 3 laps for dear life to actually get his second win of the season. Naquib looking to make a double here, as he nearly attacks him coming into the stadium section. Naquib then knows full well that Ayman is a wily character. He will try to defend tooth and nail to hold on to the lead. But Ayman knows as well that he might not want to battle too hard. He might scrub those tires so much that it would actually be detrimental to him. So all that tire conservation that he did up to this point may be thrown out of the window if he actually scrubs him too hard.
Well, Tadashi is leading the way, but what was once a very, very big lead is now very, very tight. 3:31 to go. They're lapping at 1:30. 3 laps remaining. There are 3 laps remaining. So, has Naquib put too much into this? Does he trust his tyres? As he goes on the inside, Naquib is our new race leader, Amo Haziq.
Oh, hang on, Ayman's hanging around the outside. Oh, he got pushed there a bit by Naquib. Naquib was a bit hard on Ayman there. He knew full well that he was on the outside. They were running side by side, so Ayman might not appreciate that one bit, but I think suffice to say that's actually quite hard but fair racing, and Naquib takes the lead there.
Look who's got into P2 as well. Muhammad Thasbeeh followed through, and Muhammad Nabil is right on the tail of Ayman Aqeem Tadashi. Gosh, that is a bit of a shock that Ayman Aqeem has lost that lead, because he has got the ability to dominate races from the front. On this time, he's just been drawn in by the racing competing behind him. Thasbeeh is the new race leader. To the right of your screen, there is Thasbeeh in P1 in the yellow. He's timed that one nicely. Oh, come on, these last 2 laps.
Oh, you're going to be excited for this one, Des. This is the type of racing we come to see. 2.5 minutes left to go, and the front 6 are all within earshot. Any one of these guys could win if something dramatic were to happen to each other. So, right, look at that. Cool and calm is Thasbeeh, unlike his profile picture where he's smiling for Team Flash in E1. He knows full well the job's not done yet. He might have taken the lead by virtue of Naquib making that mistake, but Naquib may actually make that mistake as his blessing, because he has the comfort of DRS for the next lap.
2 laps to go, 2 laps to go, all on dodgy tyres as well. All we need is a bit of rain. Come on, race room, give us rain.
Well, that will be some update, maybe in the near future, but we'll just keep our fingers crossed for that one, as Naquib goes onto the inside without DRS. That might be bad for Thasbeeh. If he loses the lead now, Naquib can just streak away. Naquib is around the outside, Thasbeeh on the inside. Thasbeeh doesn't do the same thing that Naquib does and hold it. And unfortunately for Thasbeeh, Naquib's going to blast for around the outside. And look at that, Ayman Aqeem as well, on the inside through the parabolica, coming onto the hairpin. Thasbeeh there loses 2 positions by virtue of having no DRS.
Okay then, Ayman Aqeem's come round the outside and maybe holds the inside. Naquib just holds on Thasbeeh from 1 to 3, and Nabil's there and Anton, as is Josh Purwien. You called it right the way down to this man in P6. We have got a race, 1.5 as Brody Steen gets a drive-through penalty. Josh Purwien makes his way up in P6. Oh, the racing going on ahead of them. Astonishing stuff.
Because just now I was looking through further in front. Naquib went wide. Ayman tried to go through on the inside. Naquib manages to hold on, and that stalled Ayman's momentum. And as a result, he's dropped behind Inigo Anton. This might have been the break that Naquib needed, because he's only about 8 tenths. But unfortunately for Anton and for Naquib, Ayman has got them through and he's back to second. This is going to be an absolute barnstorming finish in the final lap of this race.
And let's not forget, we're on board with Tadashi, but Thasbeeh is there as well, as is Nabil, as is Josh Purwien. Harry Zeffie's joined in on the back as well.
Oh man, it's a Super 7. This is if the race is going to go this way. Now then, this is about tactics. Is Naquib going to play it quite well here and try to break the toe, or he's going to let the drivers come by? And I think, judging by the way he's been driving throughout the whole race, he'll try to probably break the toe by just going left and right, weaving a bit. It's actually fair game so long as that the driver's not too close behind. That might cause an accident. So here we go right now, through the parabolica, coming up to the hairpin. Or is he? No, he's actually holding his line. Unless he's going to defend it at the very last minute to prevent. I mean, look at that. He does it there. Bang on as I said it. And Naquib holds on to the inside. Ayman will try to look around the outside here as they come through the final 2 sectors.
That's thrilling stuff. Naquib holds on. Inigo Anton makes a little move as well. You've then got this long straight down to 7 and onto the Mercedes. The Mercedes right-hander. Naquib and Ayman Tadashi and Inigo Anton. Oh, Tadashi! Did he? Was he pushed out? Naquib was just so strong. Naquib and Tadashi on the inside. What a thrilling battle. Naquib in the blue. Tadashi in the pink. Thasbeeh in the yellow. Anton in the grey. They're coming round into the stadium. Naquib holding on for all he's worth, ammo.
Wow, wait. He really had to be honest there. He just closed the door hard on Ayman. But I think that's quite fair because he already defended and committed to his line. Now that might pay off. Naquib will actually hold on to the win by sheer luck.
Well, Naquib is there and we are on board with Naquib Azlan as they come into the final straight. A double for Naquib Azlan under the most immense pressure from Tadashi and Thasbeeh and Purwien and Anton, and James Russell has got himself up into P6. Big smile from Naquib. We spoke to him at the end of race 1. We're going to need to speak to both Naquib and I think Ayman Aqeem, Tadashi. Alex Young is back alongside us. Alex, please take us away with the interviews.
Whoa, wow. How exciting was that? We'll have to talk to Ayman as well as Naquib, like you said, but we'll talk to Naquib first. Naquib, wow, what a great result. How are you feeling?
Oh, really? Lost for words. That was one heck of a fight in the end there, but oh my god. Thankfully I managed to hold it in the end.
Congratulations. What were you thinking coming into this race? What were the tactics?
So when we heard that it was going to be ×4, I was kind of, bamboozled. I was like thinking, how are we going to make these tires last? So had a lot of practice last night, making sure we could make it last and it was faster, and making sure today was focusing on keeping those tires clean. If not, it would have been dead.
Okay, well done, Naquib. Thanks again and congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Is it possible to talk to Ayman Aqeem Tadashi? If
I wanted to say it to you, but then I was like,
will we on board there?
Yeah.
Tadashi.
I'm just going to have to mute them all. And let...
Hello.
Hi, Ayman. Can you hear us? Congratulations, that was a close race.
Yeah, congratulations first of all to Naquib. Great scrap at the final lap there. I had the DRS, but he repeat what I did in Red Bull Ring last week. He defended all just like how I did in Red Bull Ring as well last week in race 1. So yeah, the tire was a little bit sketchy at first, so I was trying to did a little bit of experiment on race 1, so it didn't work out. So I knew that race 2 I need to push up all the way to the end, and at the slightest hint I managed to find out how Naquib did it. So yeah, it's a kind of trick, but interesting indeed. Interesting race.
Congratulations. Des, you got any questions?
No, I just, at one stage we thought you were so far ahead, Ayman, that this was your race to lose. But suddenly, what was a 4-second lead or 3-second lead, I think, just evaporated. What happened in the middle of the race?
Simple say that because I was in front trying to conserve the tire, and the guys behind were trying to push. And they had DRS, so they had 3 times DRS, so there will be at least 1 second gain per lap every time we just switch up the T2. So they're trying to do like the peloton way of cycling. So that's what they're trying to do. And it's just a matter of time. I'm not pushing, and the fact that they're catching up like crazy with the DRS. So it's just a matter of time. Actually, I knew that it's gonna happen. Yeah. Once I know that Haris is lose his P2, I was hoping that he can last a bit longer, but well, that's not the case, I guess.
Well, commiserations and congratulations in the same breath. A thrilling finale, but it's only 20 points, and Naquib is running away with things just at the moment. A lot of work for you guys to do.
Well done.
All right.
Okay.
That's not a bad way to have a race at Hockenheim, but in terms of the championship, Naquib, a win double there. Really puts him in pole position. He's been so unlucky in this competition, though. You cannot assume anything with 3 rounds still to go.
Oh, you just reminded me. I think Naquib has finished the bridesmaid in 4 global editions. We're in our 5th global editions, and he's finished runner-up every time. So would this be the time he wins it? I'm not sure. I mean, he's leading the championship now, but you see Ayman so close, and Thasbeeh strong. Purwien had a bit of an off day today, but he'll be strong for the rest of the season. So it's going to be very difficult to call.
However, we are moving on to round 3 of eRacing GP, Season 5. I hope you're enjoying it. The racing may be simulated, but as you can tell from the reactions and the crashes, it is very, very good sport in its own right. Do follow us on our Facebook pages. We'll be posting the official results, because I'm sure there's going to be 1 or 2 protests coming in, but official results will be coming in. But Naquib Azlan is the championship leader at the end of round 2.